How you doing, YouTube? A little bit of little holiday special. Gonna be doing the holiday special stuff this week. This will be the first video that we'll be doing of the trifecta. Count them. Not one, not two, not three. Oh, actually, yeah, it is actually three. Three holiday specials this week. A little bit of a departure from what we typically do for our end in what I would call our yearly awards or end of year awards or the stuff that you guys come to expect when it comes to the channel. So first things first, gonna get this one out of the way real quick. Video. The video, been struggling with like streaming quality. Um, with my channel, I've set it up the best I could today. I actually did a bunch of testing before I came in here. My beard's kind of going wild right now. Anyway, I set it up the best I could. Tested a bunch of stuff. This is the best it's gonna get. So if the video gets fucked up and it sucks, it is what it is. Life sucks and things happen. So let's do that. Two. What was the other thing I was gonna say? Shit, I don't remember. This is going to be rambling. I have no plan. I have a little bit of notes down here that you guys can't see about what I want to talk about and what I want to hate about. We'll get to that in a second. And the other thing is, let's talk about the other videos we're going to be doing. So we're going to be doing 3 videos this week. One today, which is actually Festivus, which is kind of the whole impetus or the actual like wrapping. We're going to put these whole yearly awards around this year. First, we're going to do our airing of grievances. That's probably the most important part of Festivus, at least my favorite part of Festivus. And you know, I love to complain about shit. What can I say? I'm a salty curmudgeon at heart. And I figured when I started doing this, I repeated this the other day when I was doing yesterday when I was doing my bottle share online. Is that you know, I really wasn't sure what I was going to do this year for my end of the year videos. And you know, I just kind of wanted to figure out what I wanted to do, and I kind of whittled this down because I usually do a bunch of videos. I think last year I did like maybe 8 videos, breaking them down by category, my favorite hops, favorite malts, favorite all kinds of stuff like that. And oh yeah, baby, fucking Haze boys are in here. Everybody, what's going on? Rod, Thomas, what's up? But fucking Haze boys are in here. Shit's about to get wild. Anyway, actually, I forgot to write something down that I wanted to talk about. Fuck yeah. Let me write that down before I forget about it. There we go. Anyway, so I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I was like, okay, I have to do my best of beers. I don't have to do shit actually. I can just fucking shut it off and be like, fuck you guys. But I want to do my best of the year, stuff that I've had. I went through and kind of cultivated that list and kind of figured out what I wanted to yammer about, but I didn't want to spend all the time. Oh shit, live Festivus. I forgot. Got to have the metal pole for Festivus. Forgot to bring that into view. You got if you don't have the metal pole, it's not actually Festivus. Anyway, so I wanted to do my best of videos. I wanted to do my shelfies. So one of my favorite beers or videos I do at the end of the year is my favorite shelfie. Shit you guys can actually get. At least shit that you can get if you get distro in your footprint. I know sometimes I'll do my shelfie video and a lot of people be like, I can't get this fucking beer. But like, well, dude, do you live around me? Like, I can't fucking figure out exactly what everybody has available to them. I can do the best I can do. And the weird part about that is sometimes I'll cover a shelfie that I can't get. You know what I mean? Someone will send me a shelfie beer that they got from North Carolina or a shelfie beer they got from Arizona. I'd be like, well, it's a shelfie and I'll include it in my list so that way other people are involved. But I wanted to do the shelfie list. And I want to do this shit where I just complain about stuff. And then the complaining about stuff was the first thing I thought about because, you know, lowest common denominator, low hanging fruit, my favorite thing in the world. And I was like, well, something happened where I think Seinfeld was on and it was airing grievances. I was like, that's fucking what it should be. And it all kind of came together. So we're going to do the airing of grievances tonight, which is me just bitching about shit. And on Thursday, we're going to do 2 videos in a row. We're going to do our feats of strength. That's going to be my favorite beers of the year. It's going to be one video. I'm not going to kind of break them down the style and tell you guys exactly, you know, these are the best hops. These are the best malts. These are the best whatever. I'm just basically going to sit there. I'm going to tell you my favorite beers of the year, regardless of style, whatnot. And then we're going to do some shelfies, which is going to be your Festivus miracle. So there you go. Wrapping it all in a Festivus bow. It is what it is. So we'll give it a couple of minutes, let a couple other people kind of join in. I know how these live things take a little bit for people to come in, and then we'll do what? I just did a blind 3-way. Pretty sexy. Sexy? That's Sexton. No, anyway. Blind 3-way of Julius and Julius and King Julius. So I had my boy Max. We talked about this yesterday. I did he did these wrapped up as mystery beers, but he did noted what they were on them, so I actually knew which ones were which. And I actually did like a blind side by side for all those beers and kind of talked about which ones I thought they were, which ones I liked the best and stuff like that. There are 2 mystery beer sets. So there's going to be the 3 green, so green, very green, and green, and Julius, King Julius, and Julius. Both of them are kind of done semi-mystery beer style, even though I know what the beer is. I will post those this coming Monday for mystery beers a week today. So there you go. So anyway, delicious. Regardless, I'm Team Julius till I die. I know the Hayes boys, shit don't. Charlton sucks and fucking Munston's is shit, but I still like it. So fuck you guys. Cheers. What's today's date, by the way? Does anybody know what today's date is? Was it the 21st or 22nd? Or was it the 24th? Oh no, it's the 23rd. It's December 23rd. It's very important that today's is December the 23rd because that makes it Festivus, but it also makes it a very special holiday for us in the northeastern area of the United States. And we'll get to that. That's right. Hayes Boys knows. They're talking about it. It's very important for you guys to know. 12/23/17. Never forget. Never forget. You should never forget that date. It's very important. And it's important for everybody out there. Anyway, so let's cut that chase because I don't know how long I want to keep this going. We're going to start diving into my airing of grievances. The first thing that fucking pisses me off to no fucking end, when it comes to beer, and this is probably might be a fucking grapefruit. We'll put grapefruit up. My favorite thing to hate on, and it drives me insane. This is a legitimate grievance. You're going to see a lot of trolling in here. You're going to see me making fun of shit that I actually don't hate. I'm just kind of busting chops and stuff, but legitimately is the new beer life cycle. And by that, I mean the new beer drinker life cycle. So you get a little bit of soapboxy, you get a little bit of old curmudgeon out of me, which is pretty much what this video is based off of, is that there is a typical life cycle. So life cycle when it comes to beer, before, beer kind of blew up. So, if you got into beer years ago, it would be, you kind of drank what you could get locally, or you started off with shit beer. Everybody did. You drank, Rolling Rock. For us, it was Rolling Rock, Jenny Cream, which I still fucking love. And a bunch of different beers that you would then eventually you kind of pique your interest with other bullshit beers you thought were exotic. So then you'd eventually kind of morph into kind of your Beck's or your Heineken, thinking that's high-end shit, or maybe your Canadian Triple X or some bullshit like that. Then you'd actually be like, okay, I go even further, start drinking. From my experiences, it was either two paths you followed. It was hyper United States based stuff. So you would start drinking Anchor Steam or Anchor beers in general. You started drinking like Sierra Nevada, those kind of Brooklyn brewery, those kind of old school OG level breweries. Or you started drinking Belgian beers. You started drinking your Chimay of the world, your Belgian quads and doubles and all those kind of things. There's Euro beers. And that's kind of where your path went. And then from there, you had this kind of similar but different path. So if you started off with the American stuff, there was a lot of IPAs, and then you eventually kind of fiddle around till you got to the Belgian stuff, fiddle around till you got to some different kind of Belgian stuff, maybe be Saison or Lambic, and kind of work yourself around, peppered back in some lagers and pilsners of good breweries, back in the day, Pilsner Urquell and Bitburger and those kind of breweries. But that life cycle took at a very extended period of time. Like from when I started getting into good beer in the late 90s to where I actually started drinking like hazies and started going crazy was probably a good 15 years. It was 98 and I started really getting into like IPAs and new school beer. New school beer didn't really take off in about 2013-ish, give or take, I would say. And that's just my own assessment. So you're talking about a 15-year life cycle that I went through very, very slowly. And then with the, the kind of advent of the, the internet coming into play, and just breweries changing, hop crops getting different, people doing, growing hops like they would grow weed, and doing all kinds of crazy shit with hops and beer process and all those kind of things, and home and beer brewing becoming more widespread, being able to make a living, being able to do a bunch of different stuff. Beer kind of took off and got crazy. And with that, you had a different kind of style of beer drinker. And that different style of beer drinker is very much what you see today in today's world when it comes to beer. You see a lot of like, I want it now. I need it now. I need to have everything I want, and I want it now. Very Veruca salty. So immediate turnover as far as style and love. And probably the biggest thing that has irritated the living shit out of me, and this is me being as long-winded as possible because I haven't even told you guys yet what I'm playing about, is the new beer drinker who gets into beer and then loves this. Loves it, wants the murky haze, wants the juice. They want to be a haze boy. They want to be a hop thought. They love it, and they love it to no end. With that, the typical quick progression, and that is loving pastry stouts, getting into like, or fruited Berliners. You're talking about your 450 North, 10%, 2% fucking, we'll touch on 450 North towards the end, but your fruited Berliners, your Puree beers, your slushies, those kind of things, your pastry stouts, your Florida-born kind of German chocolate cupcake, crazy fucking stout, and your hazies. That's what everybody gets into. That everybody starts, which is 1,000% totally fucking fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's awesome to like this beer. I like this beer. The problem that I fucking can't stand is that once people get about, it depends on the person, but usually about a year or two in, they get to the point where they start to drink Pilsner or Lager or Lambic, and now this becomes the dumbest shit in the history of man fucking kind. And if you drink a hazy IPA, you're an asshole, because that's for fucking babies. And how dare you drink that shit when I'm back here drinking my Bach Rider this and fucking Floodland that and fucking whatever. I'm drinking all the best Lambic and Saison. And if it's not wild ferment, mixed ferment, or fucking clean, crisp, fucking crispy boys, then you're an asshole. Why can't you exist in both fucking worlds? You know what I mean? There is good hazies, and there is good fucking sour beer, and there's good wild beer, and there's good funky beer, and there's good hoppy beer, and there's good West Coast hoppy beer, and it's good all around. You don't have to just be team this, team that. You know what I mean? Like, you can like both. There's no rule against you liking both of those styles of beer. You know what I mean? So it's that quick progression. It's like easy, hazy, pastry stout, Berliner, love this shit, year or two, and be like, oh, I just drink fucking, if it's not fucking Dre Fontaine or Cantillon, you can go fuck yourself, because you guys are just, you don't know. You don't know. The dude just 2 years ago, he just started drinking fucking, Teddy or some shit. And 2 years later, he's like, I'm going to write the book on, I'm going to become a master Cicerone on fucking Lambic. You can do all that shit. Like, there's nothing wrong with being a Lambic junkie. Or there's nothing wrong with being a hazy junkie. Just let the other people do their thing, man. Let the other people love what they love. And it's okay to love everything. Except for Rosh beer. Those suck. But fucking, it's okay to love everything. Like, that's the thing that pisses me off most about it. Because there's so many people that get so uppity about what they love and what they kind of like, what they love, and then they flip the script. And flipping the script is a good thing, because it's okay. You get more information and you make a more informed judgment on the information you have. There's nothing wrong with flipping the script, but there's flipping the script and then denouncing the thing that you flipped from, which is okay if you want to make a strong argument about why these things suck and why these beers suck. But just to do it because it's not cool, which is the premise of this whole argument, is the dumbest shit in the history of mankind. It's the dumbest thing ever. It's okay to like a hazy IPA. It's okay. It's okay. And just because you start liking Lambic or fucking Saison doesn't mean you have to denounce the other one, or vice versa. You be you. That's all I'm saying. Take a sip, people. Get to the comments real quick. We have Dutch Beer Geek up in here. Says, hey, Matt, 2 T's. I don't know who that guy is, but I assume you're talking about me. Hayes Boys talking about the rabbit hole that has manufactured new money hype. Well, that's pretty much all beer. You come to think about it. Harvey says, hey, Matt, not a beer-related question, but what are your thoughts on Morrissey? I don't know. I was never a big Morrissey guy. Is what it is. Just wasn't my, I like Bauhaus and that kind of shit, but some of it isn't really whatever. Dutch Beer Geek saying, amen, man. Fuck yeah, motherfucker. And we have, last but not least so far, we have Cameron Ford saying, hey, Matt, everything I said on NerdSense live stream is true. Honestly, passion for beer radiates and reflects how much you love life, and it means so much, man. Well, thank you very much, Cameron. I like beer. Thank God it's readily apparent. So there you go. Number one, we're hating on the people that kind of do that quick life cycle between like loving hazies and hating them because they found out that hazies aren't cool. Second up, while we're on hating portion of the show, oh wait, that's going to be a whole thing. Hateisms in beer. And by hateisms, this is a big one. And I don't want to talk too much on this because I think there's better people to touch on this subject because you're talking to a black rim glasses, bearded white dude. But just the hateisms, your sexism, your racism, just in general, hateisms across beer. You're talking about, there's, easy stuff to talk about, whether it be, founders, whether it be, what was the other one? Melvin Brewing. There's a lot of like the sexism, hateism stuff, racism stuff that, like I said, there's, I would really like to do a podcast about, sexism in the female in the beer world. I'm not the person to do it. I'd like to do a podcast, but I'd like it to be mostly women and people that experience that stuff. I'd like to do a podcast about racism in beer, but again, gray-haired white dudes, probably not the best fucking sounding board for racism in beer. The one that really does bother me, and this might be a little bit too close to political stuff or that I like to talk to, but I like to bring it up anyway, is just what I can speak to, which is just, you know what I mean? White racism, you know what I mean? Like, and how it's kind of, with the way the culture is, with the environment we live in nowadays, and the people who are in power. From my seat in the gallery, what I've noticed, and I think it's pretty readily apparent, unless you're one of those people, is that with the people that are loudest today in the political world, that it's become very, very much okay in a lot of people's brains to be very hateful and be very racist, coming from the white perspective and being like, now I can say I hate these people and it's okay because I have the backing of the most powerful people in the country. And when you have those kind of things that happen, a couple things happen. Basically, it's almost like drunk people. When drunk people are really drunk, they say what they mean. It's almost like the country is drunk and they're saying what they mean. In the grand scheme of things, I think it's a good thing because then we have the conversation and then we can actually figure out what's going on when it comes to this kind of hate and bullshit. But on a hyper local level, there's some really fucking dirty shit going on. So, fuck, I forget that. I got to look it up real quick. So I don't misquote something, so I don't feel like an asshole. Let me look it up real quick. I apologize. Okay. So so locally to me, there's a brewery called Human Village Brewing, and they're very much into freedom of speech, and freedom of speech is great. You know what I mean? Freedom of speech, a lot of people get it confused what freedom of speech actually means, which is your freedom, you're free from prosecution from the government. That's pretty much how freedom of speech works. A lot of people confuse that as in freedom to do whatever you want without repercussion. That's not what it fucking means. It's basically, if someone says something you don't like, you shouldn't punch them in the face unless they're a Nazi, which is kind of close to what we're talking about. But you're just not gonna go to jail for it. Let's put it that way, unless you do something violent. Well, they've hosted a couple different events where they've had the Proud Boys, which is a right wing leaning Nazi organization, and people have been pretty harsh on them and boycotting them. And then the other end of the spectrum, you have a lot of people that are very right wing, very Trumpian, kind of being like, hey, it's freedom of speech. If you can talk what you want to talk about, then we can talk what we want to talk about, and you can. But what that doesn't preclude you from, what doesn't shield you from, is from people voting with their voice and voting with their dollars. People boycotting your brewery, people not coming to your brewery. On the grand and the opposite end of the spectrum, there's a brewery in Pennsylvania, Rotunda Brewing, who they found out that the Proud Boys and those kind of alt-right fucking groups were going to host something at their brewery. They didn't know it, and they canceled it. And they're like, we just don't want that shit here. And then you get the opposite end of the spectrum, people saying, well, that's bullshit. You cancel it. You should be open. Everybody's saying all those kind of things. Just having that culture infiltrate breweries in general, and there's so many different fucking examples of this. I forget, there was a brewery up in Wisconsin that basically just said, fuck all people of this and that and the other thing. We don't want them in our brewery, in a very negative light. And it's just one of those things where it's like, it's just the saddest thing you could actually see, saddest thing you can actually hear when it comes to the brewery. So like the first two things, like the first one is me being irritated by people just hating stuff that they grew up loving. But the second one is very real shit, where you have something that's supposed to bring people together, something that's supposed to be like kind of a melting pot. Literally, the beer is a melting pot. So is the community that is into beer. And to see that kind of fracture happen, it's a few and far between. 99% of the time, people that make beer are mad cool fucking people. But then you have that 1%. The 1%. And they kind of fuck everything up. So I hate that shit. That's one I couldn't do this without mentioning that shit. So we'll move on and just be a fucking good fucking person. I think, who is it here? Who is it? Who is it? Where was it? Oh, Tim. There he goes. In short, don't be a dick about beer or people in general. Perfectly sums it up. So there you go. Tim said it in one sentence where it took me fucking 5 fucking minutes. Anyway, let's go back to the comments real quick. We will go into Dutch Beer Geek saying amen, man, about all the shit I say, which is pretty awesome. Hey, man, everything I said in the Nerd Sense live stream, we already covered that shit. And we have Tim talking about thoughts on New Belgium selling. My thoughts on New Belgium selling. I was surprised it took so long. Let's put it that way. It's not a surprise. I'm not a big New Belgium fan. I've actually had some really good beers from them. I had a couple mystery beers come through. I think it was more specifically their triple and another beer that I liked quite a bit. So it's not so much that I didn't like New Belgium. I need some beer. I just always thought they were going to sell. And the funny part is that I thought they were going to sell a while ago. And I forget, and it pisses me off because I can't find it. The person might have deleted it, which is the reason why I can't find it. But there was a video about 2 years ago, and it was me kind of ranting. It was right around when Wicked Weed sold, and someone asked me my thoughts on Wicked Weed selling, and kind of did like a live video on that. And it kind of capped that with them asking me who did I think was going to sell next, and I said New Belgium. Just makes sense. And somebody that worked the brewery previously, at least that's how they framed the response, said I was an asshole and an idiot, and there's no way New Belgium would ever sell. And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm like, I understand where you're coming from, and I get it, but they were on my short list of breweries that I thought would sell. And that was when all the breweries were selling like hotcakes. It's kind of curious. If you want to hear really good thoughts on it, go to Steal This Beer. They did a kind of news special a couple weeks ago, and they kind of talk about it. And Augie Carton, who can be Augie, very Augie, but brought up a good sense of it. The way the brewery was sold and the way the wording goes is a little bit ambiguous. Like if you look at New Belgium Brewing from a distance and you read a report saying, "Oh, everybody or the payouts for the people that are employees," it was worded in a way that you thought everybody in the brewery was going to get a minimum 100K, and then some people are going to get more. But if you really read into it, it might not be the case. So until the final numbers come out and see who made what and where the money went from the sale, whether it be employees, whether it be whatever, it is what it is. There's no love loss. I can't tell you the last time I bought a new. Actually, I can. I can tell you the last time I bought a New Belgian beer. It was their hazy, the Voodoo Haze or whatever. I bought it to review it. That was a year ago, and before that was probably a couple of years. So they're really an inconsequential brewery to me, in general. So there really wasn't much to it. We have Cameron here. So I'm new to the new beer world and really into hazies, but trying to develop my palate. So also into pastry stouts, but so I have a baby palate and want to develop my palate. My dad got me a Schmay Blue. How is it? How is it for me? I love Schmay Blue. For you, I don't know. It's not so much that, listen, when I see people getting into beer and going too quick and like, trying to rush to the end, which is the weird part because the journey is the fun part when it comes to beer and a lot of different things in life. There's nothing wrong with a baby powder. It's fucking, it's kind of annoying and douchey to say it that way, but it's exciting. I'm kind of jealous if somebody's just getting a beer because there's so many different things you can get into. Just don't rush to do it all. Take your way, enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, have fun with it. Try what you like. If you drink a Chimay and you hate it, great. That's awesome. It's not so much to say you're always going to hate it. You might. I don't know. But sometimes your tastes develop over time. You get a little bit more kind of into specific flavors and start to progress and get into different things. That's the best part about it. So if your dad who got you a Chimay Blue, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But the whole point of it is to know enough or at least be open-minded enough. That's a better way to put it. That in 3 or 4 or 5 years, go back to it and try it. You might be like, you know what, this is really good. I just didn't get it before. Now I do. Maybe you do get it from the get. I don't know. That's the whole fun part. Like a lot of people say to me, I'm new to beer and I'm getting into beer and I like specific things. What should I try next? My blanket fucking answer to that question is go to a decent mix of six spot. Like up by me, we have Wegmans. They're all over the place, depending on where you go. And just start ripping beers out of mix of sixes. Keep dates in mind if you're looking for hoppy stuff. But just keep dates in mind and just start trying new stuff from the mix of six. Just to expose yourself to get a wide test bed of what you're tasting and what you're trying and see if there's anything that piques your interest. You rip 2 different mix of sixes and you drink a Saison, like a Boulevard Tank 7, or like you have like a Belgian Pale or something. You're like, wow, this is really good. Well, then you have like your basis. Now you have your basis of like, this is a new flavor that really interests me. What else would I like in this? So you have kind of, so think about it like Pandora or, a music service to where you type in that band that you like and then it gives you a bunch of other bands like that band so you can find new music. Think about it that way. You know what I mean? Use the mix of six as a resource to expose yourself to different styles and different beers without dropping a crazy ton of money. Cause usually mix of sixes by me are like $12 for, whatever, 6 beers. You're not going to get like crazy hyped beers out of there, but you'll get cool and interesting stuff that'll lead you down a cool path. And I think that's the best thing to do about it. Thomas chimes in, Chimay Blue is excellent. I've poured into the correct glass, an abundance of dark fruits, chewy mouthfeel. I prefer poured slightly cool so it can warm up. I agree with the last part. I don't think the glass has a lot to do with it. Sure, you pour it in a shaker pint, you might not get the best beer, but it is what it is. I don't think glass is important. In short, don't be a dick. We already covered that portion. Cameron's back again. Thank you, Thomas. Crushing and Julius as well right now. Let's see. Hayes boys, the old whites are chomping at the bit to join in here, but are having trouble connecting to their dial-up. Yeah. Cameron, giving a little bit of love to Ryan from No Hype Beer Reviews. Very much awesome to have you in here, Kyle. Ryan. And he's saying, I'm all rad. I am from the southern tier. And these guys are basically having a love fest going back and forth. And Rajay chiming in with a little bit of insight into people not knowing shit, which is pretty awesome. Still, This Beer is a great show and did a good job about New Belgium. And Rod's frying chops. I want some fucking chops, motherfucker. And then at the back part, we have the last comment until we move on to the next grievance. We have Tim speaking of grievances, people who love to shit all over Goose Island, Bourbon County. But this year's regular BCS is quite amazing. What is everyone's thoughts? I will give a quick thought on that. Like what you like. I mean, that's kind of what I just chimed into and talked about. But to go that a little bit further, my biggest problem with people hating on Goose Island, and you're more than welcome to. How do I put this? Let me phrase this in a proper way. I want you to just be consistent. That's all I want you to do. You hate this, you hate that, whatever. Hate that. You can change your mind. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's when someone's like, fuck Goose Island, but at the same time, they're chugging Natter Days, or they're drinking a post-shift Miller Lite and putting up a fucking story of them clinking Miller Lights like post-shift, like, yay! And it's like, well, why are you hating on that while you're chugging your Miller Lite? Not Miller Lite, Miller High Life, which is like one of the, like, you go on Instagram and look at a brewer story of all these super hype brewers. If you look through all the stories throughout the week, you're going to see almost every one of them doing like a post-shift fucking Miller High Life. Be like, so why, if you're going to soapbox about fucking Goose Island, Bourbon County Stout being bullshit and where people shouldn't buy it, then why are you fucking showing pictures of you fucking drinking fucking Miller High Life, man? Like, you can't cherry pick what you hate big beer wise. It's you hate big beer or you don't hate big beer. Which one is it? In the grand scheme of things, everybody should drink Jenny Cream Ale, but that's just my thoughts. So yeah, so I this year's BCBS was fantastic. Let's see. Okay, next up, after hateisms, let's get a little bit light now. Packing peanuts, fuck them. Can't stand packing peanuts. I can't stand them. I don't know why people use them. Well, I know why people use them. Packing peanuts are the fucking devil, and I can't fucking stand them. And I fucking hate them. I know I'm setting myself up for disaster here because that means more people that send me beer mails are going to send me shit and packing peanuts. So be it. But I just need to tell you, they're the fucking devil when it comes to fucking beer mails. Like, when I do my beer mail unboxings and all that kind of fun stuff, I take it and I throw that shit off to the side. And there's a hillock of shit over there. Where is it? Over there. And then usually about a week or so, I fucking clean that shit up. And then every now and then, someone will fucking send me a box of packing peanuts. And I cleaned all that shit up yesterday. Cleaned my room, made it all pretty. Make sure the Festivus pole would fit in here because you have to have the Festivus pole. And there was a box full of packing peanuts and I got everywhere. And it took me an extra 20 minutes to clean my room. So fuck packing peanuts. Fuck them until they die. What do we have next? Speaking of shipping and hating on shit, FedEx and USPS. I'm cool with you, UPS. I'm cool with you, UPS. You're cool with me. You drop my shit off. You don't mess around really all that much. Every now and then you're a little bit dicey. But for the most part, you're cool. FedEx fucks my shit up all the time. They don't deliver when they're supposed to. They take forever to deliver my shit. More specifically, USPS. And I'm not talking about beer. I'm just, obviously, because you can't ship that stuff. Because that would be illegal. I'm talking about shipping in general. USPS, and where I live in the middle of nowhere, like, they like literally lie on their notes when they don't deliver shit. Like, if we have like I can actually predict it. Like, if we have like 4 packages coming one day and then 3 packages coming the next day, that first day we won't get anything because the courier will be like, they're getting shit tomorrow. I'll just deliver it tomorrow, which in and of itself is fine if the person's like, man, I'm super busy. If they actually said, I'm super busy, can I just deliver this tomorrow? I'd be like, that's cool. That's cool. But no, when I go to check in my little informed delivery thing online, they said, customer requested to hold it for a day and deliver the next day. You're just straight up lying to me. You're straight up lying to me. And FedEx sucks because most people don't know is that FedEx is usually the best delivery service, but it can actually suck because FedEx is actually owned by people. And by that I mean it's like a franchise. So like when you FedEx, like you buy an area and then you service that area, whereas UPS is just a company and then they employ people and they send people out in the world. So it's one of those things where it's like UPS is kind of run like a business, whereas FedEx is a little bit franchisee, so they can play a little bit loose and fast from the hip. So yeah, that's like, they just piss me off. I just want my shit all the time. I want what I want whenever I want it. I'm kind of like that beer person I was complaining about earlier. But it's me. Someone let us complain about that. On a side tangent on FedEx, one of the things I hate is the Hot Butcher for the World. You guys know those guys. I get a lot of beers from those guys. I get a crazy amount of beers from those guys. That in of itself I love, because free fucking beer. That's why I do this. I only do this to get free shit. You guys know that, right? Anyway, they send me a decent amount of beer mails. But this is why Hot Butcher pisses me off. It's because they'll generate a beer mail. So I don't know if you guys do any of this stuff, but I have like all the shipping services kind of like like an account with them. So I have like FedEx World Ship or whatever it's called, and then UPS kind of Shipmaster, and then Informed Delivery by USPS. So basically what that means is if somebody's going to send me something in any of those three platforms, I get a notification, whether it be from the app or an email saying, hey, someone just marked a label that's going to be sent to you. And yeah, you're going to get stuff from these people, which is pretty cool. The reason why I started doing it, and it's free for anybody that doesn't do it. So if you want to do it, go sign up for it. The reason why I did it is because I moved a couple times in a couple of years. So with, people sending me beer mails, more specifically breweries, they would still send me beer mails to my old addresses. And when you have those kind of services, you could actually intercept a package in transit and tell it to go somewhere else. So that's the whole reason why I started using it. Because I'd move and I'd be like, well, I don't want random free beer showing up for whatever fucking schmuck is living in my old apartment. I wanted to get to this belly area down there. So I signed up for the service. Now, which is great because I can see what's coming on. But then when you actually look at it, sometimes I deleted them. I'm super pissed because I deleted them. You actually delete the notifications. To me, no, yeah, see, I deleted them all. So Hot Butcher, I love them. I think they made 5 labels in a row and never sent me anything. So it's kind of like teasing me, motherfuckers. They sent me a label, week goes by, nothing. They generate another label, like, hey, another label, here we go. Another week goes by, nothing. It's piling up to the point where I texted one of the owners, because we text back and forth. I was like, dude, could you just not make labels until you want to send me shit? Because this is getting really annoying, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to get some Hot Butcher. Nothing. It just sits. And at a point where I had 5 labels that just never made it into the system. Like it's generated, but the package, it was never slapped on a package and nothing moved. Now, those eventually get to me, but you're teasing me, motherfuckers. I'm very easily teasable. Let's put it that way. Okay. Back to the comments real quick. Where are we at here? Rajay talking about some of the new Belgian employees were against it and not all got paid depending on how they were vested in the plan, but some did come out okay. And that's the thing. Everything I've heard right now hasn't been solid information, so I don't know. I couldn't really speak to it in a more informed sense because there's nothing's been released as far as numbers go. Some people can say I didn't do well, and other people said I did well, but there's no hardcore facts. So speculation. We'll see what's what. Tim's like, speaking of grievances, people who shit all over Goose Island. Oh, we already covered that one. Packing Peanuts just ordered for Amazon for your next blind beers. See, Tim knows what's up. That's what I mean. I know I was setting myself up for disaster there, brother, but I gotta mention it. Let me plug in my goddamn phone before it fucking dies. God forbid I don't have my phone. Should be concentrating on this shit. Anyway, and then we have Ryan O'Puffs airing this grievance. Fuck the green apple Skittle. It's always been lime. They change it and act like it's the original flavor. It's been like 5 years. Skittles still making green apple shittle. Why the fuck are you eating Skittles, dude? That's the thing you need to shit on. Who the fuck eats Skittles? 15-year-olds. Not even 15-year-olds. Like they're fucking 10-year-olds. Skittles, like eating, just take a spoonful of sugar, man. I could not. If I ate a Skittle right now, I'd probably. I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably freak out or something from a sugar rush. I don't eat cakes or candies. Here's my cakes and candies right here. So yeah, Skittles. Yeah. But fuck them. I'll join the fuck them parade. That's pretty fun. Changes the whole melding of flavors. Okay. So you're talking in depth. See, this is the thing where I kind of maybe you got some kind of Skittle thing going on. Like people are into beer, and I'm like, beer's awesome. Then a classic example is people that are in cigars. I'm like, cigars are dumb as fuck. Like I can't get cigars. Why the fuck would somebody be this deep in the cigars? But then they're like that with beer. So I'm like, you're being an asshole. The person's doing the same thing you're doing with cigars, but you're doing it with beer. So stop being an asshole. Maybe you're that way with Skittles, so I shouldn't be me, but I am an asshole, so it is what it is. And then we have Rod J. Never use peanuts or coins when sending. He's talking about beer mails. Yes. I just throw them in and hope for the best. Let's see. Here's a self-serving one. This is not so much me hating on something, it's you guys hating on me. Not necessarily you guys hating on me, a select few of people hating on me. So there's, and I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again because I love doing it, is that there's like, I kind of know who they are, but there's like three beer tubers that like can't stand me. And they like they dislike specifically my beer mails, my live shows, and my mystery beers. Those are the three that they really love to dislike. And it makes sense that they dislike that stuff because all three of those things, the live shows, the mystery beers, and the beer mails, are all people sending me shit. Viewers, more times than not, they're either viewers sending me stuff and me doing a video of a beer that a viewer sent me. More often than not, that's 99% of the time it's a mystery beer. And then live shows, which are very kind of viewer oriented. And there's that select through. It's like 2 or 3. I know there are people that do videos on BeerTube. They are so fucking jealous that people send me shit or watch my shit or actually like my stuff that they just can't help themselves and then click the little dislike button. And it makes me so happy that they have the grievance against me. It's just like, it's literally I don't think shit gets real until people hate on you. And every time one of those button clicks, it makes me so fucking happy. So that's kind of a weird one. That's a self-serving one. It's not a grievance for me. That's a grievance for them against me. But I would fit in here because 2 things. One, I fucking love it. One is probably going to be 3 things. One, I fucking love it. I love it. It's my favorite thing. So it shouldn't be included in here. 2, I love that they hate me so much. And 3, I love that they're going to watch this video and see me talking about them and know that it's them and then dislike this video. And it's going to make me even happier. So thank you very much, guys. You're my favorites. And you have Ralph from Florida. You have Max. You have Carson from Florida. You have all these people that just reach out and have conversations. They text back and forth. They send me beer. Sorry, guys. You're never going to be my favorite. My favorites are the people that hate me. Cheers to you guys. Anyway, let's move on. This one kind of, should we do this one? We'll save this one for the end. Anyway, journalistic bias. It's one that's always pissed me off. I've talked about it in the past. And it's a weird kind of conversation for me to have. And when I mean journalistic bias, I mean journalists who are biased. And by that, I mean, like, basically, like, it's a weird thing because I dig reading stuff. I actually don't watch a lot of YouTube videos about beer. I actually enjoy reading articles about beer. The written word just works better for my brain, even though I do this. I'm not a writer. I'm just a random dude that talks on the internet, but it just works for me better. But there's this, like, there's a legitimacy to the video format that didn't exist a couple of years ago, let alone several years ago. More often than not, your YouTube, your whatever service you want to call Twitch stream, whatever, was looked upon like as amateur hour. It can be, but I believe the video format is has gotten so much video and audio podcasts a little bit more so than video, but they've made leaps and bounds as far as just good content, good legitimate content, and I believe that's an issue for a lot of like traditional journalists, people that are written word people that like want to put out a magazine or a paper or something along those lines, and they view the people that do videos as kind of like, again, amateur hour, and then they perpetuate that as in going out of their way to try not to legitimize it in any form or fashion, so that way they don't lose some of their luster. So you have a lot of like journalists out there nowadays that kind of look at this format and kind of poop all over it, and I think it's kind of a bummer, just because, it's kind of like the newspaper industry, the newspaper was going under, and they didn't have the clairvoyance or the foresight to actually look ahead and see what the people wanted, and at the same time what the future held. It's much the same with beer journalists. Even though that's a format I really enjoy, it's really bummer to see that love only travel in one direction. Really, most beer journalists kind of look down upon it, and not so much podcasts, because that's almost something they've had to delve into, but more the YouTube video format. Yeah. Product shills. I hate you, motherfuckers. I get it, man. YouTubers, trying to get your free shit. I get a ton of free beer. It just, I don't ask for it. The only time I ask for something is mystery beers is because I can't do anything. I can't do mystery beers by myself. Other than that, if shit finds a way to me, it finds a way. That's what it is. And it's not that I'm immune to a product thing. You know what I mean? Like, people have sent me stuff. Someone sent me this bottle opener. I've done the trail keg I did a video on. So it's not like I'm immune to it. So maybe I'm making fun of myself a little bit at this time. But there was I don't know how this is going to land for people, but because I'm going to be, again, the bearded white dude talking about Frasier. So Frasier, TV show. I love it. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. There's a point where he wanted to do commercials to make money, and his big kind of sticking point around it, the one thing that made him validate it was okay for him to kind of quote unquote sell out, would be if he used the product. If he used the product and enjoyed the product, he would be okay with promoting it. And that's kind of how I feel it should be in the beer world. You know what I mean? Like, I have zero interest in hangover aid. I have zero interest in those kind of weird things, that are beer related, beer adjacent. It's just, I think if you're going to, unless your thing is just all about max profits. I don't know. I don't think you should shill shit unless that's your jam. That's just my shtick. Like I said, I did the trail keg because I thought it was interesting, because it was something that would be useful to me, because I want to keep getting like 64 ounces of 4% beer, and I like to drink it over several days or a week or so. But then there's other examples. I've had like the hangover companies reach out to me. I've had the fridge companies reach out to me. I didn't need a fridge. I have a beer fridge. I don't need it. I'm not going to get another one, so I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? That's kind of where my kind of idea lands. Like, I had a big homebrew, relatively large homebrew company reach out to me and be like, hey, can we send you homebrew stuff, and you can brew a beer for homebrew day, and then blah, 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 or stuff like that. It's just not really my kind of thing. I'm like, not that I don't like homebrew, but it was like half real homebrew, half extract. I'm like, I'm going to make beer. I'm going to make beer. I'm not going to make it extract. So I love you guys. Seems like you're doing cool stuff, but not for me. What was the other one? Or the opposite of that is that companies that kind of go out of their way to want you to do specific shit for them if they send you stuff, like Flying Fish out of Jersey, which is really weird because I lived in Scranton, and Scranton newspaper company bought Flying Fish, and then they moved to Jersey, and then Flying Fish reaches out to me when I moved to Jersey, and they're like, hey, and other companies, I don't want to pick on Flying Fish, Rogue has done this, and there's been other breweries that have done this, and they're basically like, hey, we want to send you beer, but if we send you a beer, you have to do 2 videos, you have to post 5 pictures on Instagram and do 2 stories, and you have to use these tags. And I don't write back. I just fucking ignore it. But every now and then I'll be like, no, that's not what I do. I'm sorry. Go fuck yourself. So it's like shit like that. Like it's a product shilling in opposite of that, like shilling of products, I guess, by the company themselves, like forcing people, just trying to get people to do specific shit for free stuff. It's just dumb. I don't know. Anyway. Up next, I'm gonna make these hate videos. Let's cut to the comments actually real quick before I move on. We have Hero. That's probably Hero, right? Sup, Matt? Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, brother. Hayes boys, ready for names? Nah, no names. No names. It is what it is. And Fraser says, hi from the UK. Liking the vids, pal. Cheers to you, bruv. And last but not least, we have Rajay chiming in. When you got haters, you know you're doing something. LOL. That's pretty much true. You know you're doing something right when people hate on you. So anyway, I mean, if all you get is hate, that's not good. So let's talk about that. All you get is hate. So the other thing I hate about people, or hate about beer in general, and this is kind of a couple things I have alluded to and that the Hayes boys have alluded to, is people that feel entitled in beer. You know, like whether it be the brewer, the home brewer, which is the classically entitled person, or the consumer, the person that goes to a brewery and just thinks their shit don't stink and they can do whatever they want. I come to this brewery and I spend $15,000 a year in this brewery, and that means I can do whatever the fuck I want whenever the fuck I want to do it. That seems to be growing rampant in the beer community. We have a local guy close to us. We call him Crocs or Grapefoot. And the dude is just like, I don't want to make fun of him because he's in failing health. So it's like, I kind of feel bad. I genuinely feel bad, even though he's a pretty poopy person. To both people I know digitally, but also to people in my real good friends of mine. And he's just just a bad person to them. And the dude is just a horrible person. You know what I mean? Like, he's been banned. He was banned from, what was the name of the brewery? Maybe Hayes boys can chime in. I forgot what it was. He's been banned from pretty much every brewery you could possibly imagine in my area. From Equilibrium banned him, Rushing Duck banned him, Breaker Brewing banned him, fucking, you know what I mean? Like the North banned him. Like everybody, like every brewery around here is basically just kick the guy out because all he does is show up like a hot red mess, get hammered out of his mind, buy a bunch of beer, pee him, poop himself, literally, and just act like a hot garbage. Now he's not the exception to the rule, but he's the extreme example of that rule. To where there's a lot of people that like kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of feel like they have some kind of bizarre ownership of a brewery because they either found them first, or they frequent them enough to where they have some kind of weird kind of carte blanche when it comes to not just the brewery, but being at the brewery and existing in their beers and having their beers. It's such a bizarre thing. It's like, it's so crazy. No. He's boys. I was talking. What was the Nick? He got. Let's put it this way. This guy, this particular person, got tossed out of a brewery he's never been to. It was out west. It was like it might have been the Guard. I think the Guard banned this guy just because he's so infamous on the East Coast that they were just like, fuck this guy. If he ever comes out west, we're just not letting him in. That's how shitty of a person he is, but that's rampant. And that's happened a couple different places. And just people just kind of like have this kind of they derive their self-worth from the beer. So then they end up thinking that that is what matters most. And then they use that, you know what I mean, to kind of, I don't know, act like it's like a badge of honor or some shit. And it's just really weird. Now, you have down here, you have Aaron here saying, I'd kill for a guy to spend $15K at my brewery. That's the point, though. And that's a kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke that not a lot of people get. This person doesn't spend $15,000 a year at a brewery, but he'll get drunk and scream, I spend $15,000 a year here. I could do whatever I want. That fucking guy. The guy's not actually spending $15K. He's just yelling that he's selling $15K, which is the worst. Back to comments, because that's what all it is. Just people feeling super entitled. Watching your videos while I should be working. This is way more important. Happy holidays, man. That's what I'm talking about, Mike. Yeah. Priorities. Some people have them. You got them. That's what I like to say. Hayes Boys, 17,000 pies. 17,000 ABVs is what I'm talking about. That sweet cuvee. Tommy's talking about, what are your thoughts on the 450 North drama? We're going to end the video on that one because that's going to be a little bit long-winded. But we'll get to that shortly because we're not too far off of that. Carson's like, all right, catch me up. What all are you upset about? Everything, Carson. It's fucking everything. God damn it. You know what I'm upset about? When people send me fucking checks and I can't cash them and I gotta send them back to them. That's what I'm fucking upset about. He's boys chiming in with Crocs being where he's banned. So let's get through the last of these. Next thing that I hate, and then this will be on my hate videos to the end of time, and I will always mention it. Jump cuts. That motherfucker who wants to be like, I don't know, he just wants to be like some video producer for fucking a Nine Inch Nails video, decided to start doing beer videos and makes jump cuts, and because he can't formulate a sentence more than 8 seconds long, so he has to cut it up so it doesn't sound like a fucking idiot. He or she, both, or them, or they, doesn't matter. You suck. Stop the jump cuts. Just do it. Just talk on the camera. If you fumble over a word or you fuck up, you say something wrong, that humanizes you a little bit. Not necessarily a bad thing. Next up, what am I hating on? Me. I'm hating on myself. What's the most annoying thing that I do that pisses me off? Other than me going and and because that always sucks. I try not to do it, but it happens. Me fucking up names. Not beer names. I'm okay with fucking up beer names. When I call a beer name, like when I say, like, people get really uptight about beer names. Like my favorite example is saying a Belgian double. People like is Dubel. I will fucking stab myself in the eyeball with a hot soldering iron before I say Double. Want to know why? Because I live in fucking America. No, it's just a regional. It's a diet. It's an accent thing. It's not. There's some things that need to be pronounced correctly. Then there's double versus double. Where I live, my normal dialect makes me say specific things. Let's put it this way: if I say aluminum, I say aluminum. If I just started saying aluminium, or I started saying binoculars, I'm an asshole. Neither are incorrect. Binoculars, aluminum, aluminium. Depends on where you grow up. So it just pisses me off when people just get crazy about names. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. I get pissed off because I forget who sends me mystery beers. That's my grievance against myself, because I have people send me mystery beers and I'm like, I think this person sent me this mystery beer. Like, I really need to start writing down fucking the person's initials on mystery beers that sent it to me, because I forget half the time. And then I'll be like, hey, blah 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 sent me this, and it's totally somebody else. And that's me being an asshole. That's me being a douche. I got a weird stain on my shirt, I just realized. Look at that. I'm a fucking slob. God damn it. Anyway, God damn it. I just wash this goddamn thing. Anyway. God, my beers are getting warm. Let's move on to the next one. All the haze are below us. There we go. Anyway, last but not least, no, there's not last. Assholes. I was talking about me being an asshole, forgetting all the names. While we're on the subject of assholes, Taco, my dog Taco, is an asshole. He's a fucking vibrant, crazy asshole, and he is the coolest dog in the history of mankind. Max got to meet Taco when he dropped off beer the other day, and fucking my fucking dog, dude. I got like cuts and marks and shit on my house. My couch is destroyed. Not really. He's just a puppy. He's being a puppy, but I just wanted to mention Taco, so I wanted to call him an asshole, but also call him the best dog in the history of mankind. So there you go. We're gonna get more Taco once it gets nicer in weather. So anyway, and then let's cut to the end. Let's cut to the chase. This is gonna be the last thing we talk about as far as grievances and annoyances and all that stuff. But before that, let's go to commercial. No, actually, we're gonna go to comments real quick. Carson's like low blow, man, low blow. Yeah, I know. I had to do. Let's see. Hayes Boys, I was given an extra picture by Pete to get back in line and buy an additional 3 4-packs. He's talking about Sir Crocs. Happy holidays, Matt. Love your channel. Thank you very much, Rich. Very much appreciate it. Tim's like, I just label them with my name to help you with your problem. See, that's the thing. Tim crushed it because he put this sweet electrical tape. If you guys remember when I did some mystery beers, it was right around the time when I went to vacations in down the Jersey Shore. He had fucking Tim written all over him. See, he fucking knows. He knows what he's doing. Fraser Lowly, sometimes you speak really quick. Used to it now. I have a problem with that. I don't know what it is. I can't slow myself down. I try. I actually, I have a note. So for those that don't know, because how would you? So what I try to do when I do my videos, I record everything on my phone, and I sit at my desk here, and I have my phone is on a tripod on the other side of me, and I have a mirror on the other side of that. So that way when I'm looking at the camera, so I try to position it so I'm looking basically right above that edge of the camera lens of my phone is the reflection of me, so I can see where I am on the camera, on the film, so my positioning is correct. And literally right above that is a note saying, slow the fuck down, try not to and speak clearly. Like, it's like a huge thing that I try to go out of my way. But I can't help myself because I'm like fucking micro machines sometimes. So I apologize if sometimes people can't, get into it. I apologize for the shaky ass fucking camera too. But it is what it is. Anyway, a couple more comments. Oh my God, just noticing that's a mouse rat shit. Yeah, you like that shit? Oh, mouse rat. Love me some Parks and Rec. If I had to, I actually posted this shit on social media the other day. And I was thinking about it. I don't know why I was thinking about it, but if I had the choice to be anybody, a fictional character from TV, but like Jekyll and Hyde, like you had to be 2. You get to pick which ones, but you would morph between the 2, Jekyll and Hyde. It'd have to be Andy Dwyer and Jack Donaghy from 30 Rock. I would love to be those 2 people, in a Jekyll Hyde situation. It'd just be fantastic. Let's see. Haunted Stink, happy holidays and cheers from Sweden. I often ponder on the catch-22 of time versus availability. When young, no video games all the time. Today, too many video games, no time. That's some deep shit, motherfucker. And it is absolutely true. Listen, man, like I remember when I was young, when I would play video games, I'd play them for fucking 8 hours. When I'm done with this video, I'm going to go play. I'm going to play a little bit playing Jedi Fallen Order right now. I'll probably get an hour and a half, 2 hours in, and I'll be like, I got to go to bed. Like, I just don't have the time. Says the guy rambling into the internet that I don't have time. Yeah. Haunted Snake says again, same goes for beer now. I chase down most of what I want, but fail to get them all in time without marinating in beer. How do you do it? I don't know what that means. Same goes for beer now. I think you're referencing something I said that maybe was from a bit ago. I chase down most of what I want, but fail to get them all in time without marinating in beer. How do you do it? I think what you're trying to tell me is that there's so much beer and not enough time to drink it, I think is what you're saying. So how do I do it? I don't buy beer. I buy beer, but not that much. And most of my beer comes from breweries or viewers. And I drink like 3 to 4 times a week, maybe. So I post about a video a week. Or I post a video a day, sometimes 2. So you're talking about 7 days a week. Maybe if I post 2 twice a week, so you're talking about 9 videos a week. And for that, basically what I do is when I sit down and do beer reviews, I'll do 3 to 4 in a session, about 3 times a week on average. So you're talking, let's say, for the sake of math, I do 4 when I go to sit down to do beer reviews, and I do that 3 times in a week. So I do it. I usually don't do it when I don't have work the next day. I do it on Thursdays. I work Fridays, but I work from home, so it's easier. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, let's say I have beers then. It gives me 12 for the week. 12 beers a week is pretty over a 3-day span isn't too bad. I'll have beers outside of that every now and then, watching football with friends and stuff like that. So sometimes I get the beer, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't. I have a fridge full of beers from a bunch of people. There's too much beer in there for me to really record them all and get them up in prompt time. So some of them are just not going to be filmed. It is what it is. So it's a very first world problem. Let's put it that way. Cameron's saying, do you drink beer every day or take breaks? I don't drink beer every day. Usually I try to drink beers no more than 4 days out of the week. It's usually 3 to 4 days out of the week. Almost Fridays and Saturdays, I typically have beers. I'm either going out to breweries and doing all that kind of fun stuff. Typically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are pretty beer free. Every now and then I'll jump in a beer video, like do a beer video with the Canadian guys. There's a bunch of Canadian beer tubers that do like Beer Analysis 101 up in Canada. They do that on Wednesdays. Sometimes I'll do a Wednesday and skip a Thursday, but so usually it fluctuates between 3 to 4 days a week. You know what I mean? Out of the 7. Lubru chiming in with Matt. Hi, Matt. Merry Christmas. What's going on, Ryan? Ryan from Lubru. Go check out his channel. He's homebrew extraordinaire. Does a bunch of really tasty beers. I've reviewed them. Doing my homebrew Wednesdays as of late. You could see some of his stuff up there. He has some stuff kind of sitting around for me. I got to get it up there. I won't be up there until after the new year, Ryan, but we will definitely hook up and I'll grab some of your stuff. Tim chiming in saying, but yeah, Tim too. Yeah. Aaron says, what's your favorite double? I don't know. You know what double and this is probably, and this is kind of like I'm trying to think my favorite double. Good God. I'm more of a quad guy or a Belgian dark. Doubles, if they hit me the right way. I like La Trappe. You know what one I loved, and it's actually isn't that highly rated of a beer, and I haven't had it in like 8 to 10 years, but I loved it. It was a Nami double. It's like ENME Anami double. I haven't had it in like 18 years, so it's probably a little bit of distance bias on my part. I love that beer. I love that beer. That was so good, especially with some time on it. But yeah, yeah, that's my answer. Jerome the Metronome saying, how's it hanging, Matt? Just drop it in while at work. You can go fuck yourself, Jerome, and your Spursy bullshit. No, I love you, brother. I'm just fucking around. What the hell did I just do right there? Anyway, Merry Christmas from Ottawa, Matt. How do you feel about Arteta joining Arsenal? I am fucking pumped about it. I am fucking pumped. I did not hate Emery. I actually liked him as a coach. I just don't think he was a coach for Arsenal. I think he got a little bit too set in his ways, and his way was his way or the highway. And I think Arteta is a little bit more in tune with players. So, like, to make this more of an NFL thing, just because it's a little bit better of an analogy for me to make for a lot of people out there, is that there's a couple different ways you can actually coach a team. And that is you have tactics. There's a couple different ways, quite a few different ways. You could have your system, and your system is your system, and they better run your system. Or you could just, cater to the player, which I don't think is a great thing. But there's also understanding the strengths you have as a team. And a perfect example of that would be the Baltimore Ravens. So the Baltimore Ravens drafted Lamar Jackson at quarterback. And it didn't go, we're going to try to make him this kind of quarterback. We're just going to go, okay, what kind of quarterback do we have? We trust this person. We want this person to succeed. Let's understand what this person is capable of. We know they're extremely talented. And let's understand what this person is capable of and give that person all the opportunities to succeed with the style that they run. And that's kind of where I think Emery failed, because then you have people like Ozil, who for, lack, you could hate him or love him, but, Ozil was not used correctly. Torreira is a big one who was not used correctly under Emery's system. He's a great player. Torreira, when Emery first came in, was like the fucking talisman of the fucking team. But it was only because they were just coming off Wenger and the system was still kind of Wenger-y, and he was just kind of, letting shit run the way it was still being run for a set until he got to implement what he wanted to do. And Terrera kind of got shuffled and sat on the bench. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? He's like one of the best players on the team. And you could say what you want to say about Ozil. And then he went with some really bizarre choices as far as lineups and stuff like that. Sometimes he'd play, all three, Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Pepe. And then, past fucking week before he got canned, it was fucking no Lacazette. It's like, what the fuck's going on? So he had to go, even though I like him as a coach. But I think Arteta, I wanted him actually as the skipper before Emery, even though I was okay with Emery coming in. I was actually, okay, I like this. I wanted him as the original hire. But it's always hard to be the person that follows the legend. So it's almost like a nice little buffer that Arteta gets. He's not the person following Wenger. He's the person to now save Arsenal from following Wenger. So I think it's going to work out pretty well. At least I hope so. I have to. You know what I mean? That's what it's like to be a fan. Let's see. Ryan from the Hoyt Beer Reviews is saying, always interesting to see how others drink beer. I'm typically a 1 in a day guy. So yeah, some people do 1 a day. That's good for them. I mean, I'm like, I save them all for the weekend. And this is the thing where I think age kind of comes into play. I'm not the most feltest guy in the world. I got a little bit of poundage going on. So it's not like I'm uber healthy. But man, age has really done me dirty. Let's put it this way. This is maybe not a great way to talk about it. But if I drink two beers, I will wake up with the same level of hangover, which is kind of shitty. A shitty hangover. If I drink 2 beers, I'm going to wake up with kind of a shitty hangover. Not like crippling, but I'm like, ugh, this sucks. The same way if I drank 6 beers. So there's no difference. If I drink 2 beers, I drink 6 beers, I'm going to wake up feeling the exact same fucking way. I drink fucking 10 beers in a day, I wake up and want to die. But so my thought process was like, oh, well, if you're going to have 2 and feel like shit, you might as well drink 4. So that's why I do 3 to 4 in a session. Be like, you're going to wake up feeling shitty anyway. You might as well do it. And I save it for when I'm not actually having to drive to work. Because one thing I really don't like to do when I'm like, if I do feel a little bit shitty from having a couple of beers the night before, is drive. It's not a big fan of driving with that. So not so much that I can't do my job. I'm still very much capable of doing what I need to do, but I just don't like to drive with a hangover. So that's why I do them when I don't have to go anywhere the next day, even though I am like literally, it's incapable of me not going anywhere. So I'm almost like lying to you guys because like on the weekends I just drive. That's all I do. That's all. Like I drive so much, it's not even funny. So I still do it. Anyway, what else do we have here? Jerome, he's like, I'm a 1 a day guy as well, usually. There you go. Joe from Beer Patrol, one of the best in the game. Go check him out if you're not subscribed to Joe. He's my favorite beer tuber. I love his shit. Go check him out. It says, I also batch review that I find it work better for my schedule. Now, I personally drink too. I need to watch this back, baby. Giving a little bit of cheers to No Hype. And Jerome saying, should be expecting a fantasy football haul again this year. No. Oh, fuck. You had to bring it up, didn't you? So this is I'm the best person in the history of fantasy football. Did you guys know that? Now you do. So I have played 12 total years of fantasy football. And by that, I mean, I actually didn't play fantasy football for quite some time. So I've been in 12 seasons of fantasy football. So I've only played I played like 1 year in one league. A couple years went by. I played in 1 year in one league. And then I think it might be more actually. I got to go back and look. But then I played in 2 or 3 leagues over a couple different years. So it's like over the past 4 years, I've basically been in a couple different fantasy leagues. So you're talking about maybe like 2 to 3 fantasy leagues over the past 4 years, plus a straggler here or there. So it's like 12 or 13 years. Twice. 2 times in the whole, let's call it 13, because that's what I actually think it is. 13 seasons of fantasy football. Twice I've never made the playoffs. This year. is one of those years. So the second time ever, I've never made the playoffs in fantasy football. Conversely, opposite of that, I think I have out of 13 years, I think I have 7 championships, and I think of the ones I don't have in the championship. So let's say 13 years, 2 years, so that's 11. So of the 4 years I did not win a championship and made the playoffs, I think all 4 years I made money or finished in prize territory. So yeah, last year I had a little bit of beer league deliciousness that I won. This year you will not see any of that because I didn't play in that beer league though. So I wouldn't have won beer regardless. As the ones I were in were straight cashy, homie kind of things. So no beer hall this year. Carson saying Jerome, I need 9.6%. Devontae, need 9.6 points from Devontae Adams tonight for the ship. Fingers crossed. I think you'll get that. You should get that. No hype going. Cheers on us. Martin Colmer says, I can't remember last time I had a hangover. How old are you, Martin? Right in there, tell us how old you are. Because I remember not having hangovers. And by hangover, I don't mean like, oh my God, like I'm dying. You know? Like for me, a hangover is just like, I feel sluggish. Like I don't get headaches, so I really don't get like a headache. It's more just kind of like, a little bit sluggish or whatever. It's not anything crippling. So good live, Matt. Gonna run, enjoy the chops. Cheers, bro. Cheers, Rod. Good to see you, brother. Ryan O'Puff says, yo, Matt, have you ever had Burley Oak beers? I've had Burley Oak beers, not a ton of them. Burley Oak, are the Burley, are those one of, do they do the Dreams? Is that Burley Oak? Look it up real quick. Martin Colmer, I'm 70. You're not 70, motherfucker. You're lying. You fucking liar. Nobody who's 70 years old is sitting on YouTube watching me fucking talk. So, and if you are, then, but you're not. Yeah, Burley Oak is the dream. I'm not a big fan of the Dreams, to be perfectly honest with you. They're that slushy thing. We're going to get to the 450 North stuff eventually. We're kind of going through all the comments now, so it's taking a little bit. It's Carson Billock. I need 50 from Aaron Jones and Bailey tonight. Jones is good for a 30 spot every now and then, so it could happen. You know, it could happen, but it's not going to happen, by the way. Steep hill to climb. We have Joe from the Beer Patrol. He 26 points last week from the Breeze to overcome huge odds, and he pulled through because he's MFing Breeze, son. Now I'm in the championship game, up 20, and it's looking good. Oh, way to jinx yourself. You're going to lose now. Martin, again, I'm 70. You're a liar. Yeah, Jones have another 4 TD game. We have a bunch of talk going on here. The dial-up finally connected. Oh, shit, son. He's talking about the 70-year-old. Yes, it is. Dream is Burley Oak. We have. I am late to this chat. Happy Festivus, Matt. Happy Festivus to the motherfucking rest of us, son. Let's see. That sucks. Dude went crazy. Dreams are okay. I think Burley's best beers are their triples and double IPAs. I don't even like triples much, but their 100 series is so awesome, and they are good people. Yeah. I mean, I haven't had a ton of their stuff, so I can't really judge on it. I've had a couple of Dreams. I might have reviewed one beer from them, but I don't think I had. I don't have enough exposure to say if I dig them or not. So it is what it is. So we're at the last one. Let's cut to the 450 North stuff real quick. And then I actually want to do an unboxing. I got a beer unboxing I want to do for you guys. But so let's talk about the 450 North stuff real quick because a lot of people want to talk about it. Here's the deal with the 450 North stuff. It was the least surprising shit I've ever heard in my fucking life for this reason. So I've talked about this in the past. I talked about it last night on the St. Bernardo show. Beer ABV is not what you think it is across the board. So when you have a beer, and again, I talked about this actually even on Friday. It was funny, and I talked about this last night, and I'll rehash it real quick as I can. So before there was a live stream on Friday. NerdSense. NerdSense is they do a bunch of beer review. Go check them out. Nicest dudes in the history of mankind. They did a live kind of Christmas special. I went and joined on that. Before I went on there, I actually did a bunch of beer reviews. So I had beers to drink during that show. One of the beers that I did for the beer reviews before joining that show was a mystery beer. And the mystery beer, I should post it soon because it's kind of very topical. But it is before all the fucking 450 North shit went down. Is that it basically said, as a mystery beer, not knowing what the beer is, I'm like, listen, I'm like, this beer is high. It's going to have a big ABV on the fucking label, but it's not. It's not high in ABV. It's lower in ABV. It's probably like 6%, but it's probably like 9% beer or something like that. It's like, I said 6.5, but 8.5, somewhere around there. It's like 3-4% lower than what the label's going to say. I can taste it. You can just taste it because of how sweet it is. When you have that residual sugar, that super sweetness, I am talking about that beer, Jerome. You know which one I'm talking about. It's a Nightmare Brewing beer, and I was like, this is it, but this is before I knew what the beer was or knew the ABV. I'm like, this beer is going to say it's this, but it's not that, and it's going to be way lower. So even though I'm going to be wrong on the ABV, I'm fucking right because this shit happens all the time, and the reason why it happens is a couple different things. One, breweries, especially with hazies and stuff like that, they try to have a decent amount of residual sugar in it, even the slushies, because it tastes like candy instead of beer, so people like to drink them more. But two, a brewer shoots for an ABV, but they might not be the best brewer in the world, so their beer doesn't finish or attenuate properly, so you end up having a lot of residual sugar. They don't know that. It takes weeks to get labels, so they produce a label saying, okay, I'm going to produce a 10% beer. I get the label in. The beer's only 6%. I'm not going to get new fucking labels. I'm just going to put the fucking label on the beer, put it out in the world. That happens very, very often, like way more often than you possibly imagine. So when you're talking about 450 North doing a 8% beer that's coming in 2.5%, you're talking about a beer is less than half a percent. That's a big jump. Now, when you actually throw in the idea of the beer itself being kind of like a puree kind of mixture beer, a lot of these fruit puree beers um, aren't a ton of beer in them. It's a lot of fruit puree, a lot of like live sweetness. That's why you see a lot of these beers. I mean, a lot of these beers end up being, keep them cold. Don't let them get warm because they'll re-ferment in the can and pop and all that stuff. You see some breweries that are getting away from that, whether it be, I believe, like the Answer or other half, because they can actually do a pasteurization process to kill off any kind of yeast, so that way it doesn't ferment in the can. Regardless of that, you end up having a beer that's not necessarily. They might have been shooting for 8%, but it just didn't even get close to that. Nor do they fucking care, because here's the thing: if you strip the ABV portion of the show out of the conversation, the people still love the drink. I'm not going to call it beer so much as a drink. And to flip the script on that, when we were talking about the Nerd Sense guys, when I was talking back and forth with those guys on the show, or at least the comment section after, they kind of made a joke about how, like, it's going to make it look like a lot of beer reviewers, YouTubers, beer tubers are going to be wrong when it comes to kind of detecting ABV, which I don't think is the case. I think a lot of people that drink those beers, more specifically the kind of slushy kind of puree beers, we always go, this doesn't taste anything like the ABV, which is probably the case more times than not. So where you have 450 North, I think they're going to address the ABV thing either tonight or tomorrow. They kind of made a post under a new slushy post on Instagram saying they're going to address it at some point, or at least the ABV testing portion of the show, they're going to address it. They'll be fine. A couple of you said, "Oh, they're gonna get in trouble. There's gonna be lawsuits." That shit's not gonna happen. There's not enough money for any lawyer to take this mantle up and kind of fight for it. They're too small of a company to win really much of any money off of. Plus, there's enough gray area there as far as beer labels go and what a brewer has to tell you what's going on. I don't think they're gonna make any money. Where you hear or see or predict a lot of buttholes getting tight is the whole beer community as a whole, from everybody across the board, more specifically the smaller boutique breweries, for a couple different reasons. I think ABV mislabeling is rampant. I think hardly do I think a brewery gets ABV right. If they say it's 8%, it's 8%. That's fine, great. But half time when I'm like, there's no way this is 8%. I don't think it is 8%. And conversely, when you're talking about a lower ABV beer, it's probably the case. Now, I treat those beers by what it says on a label, because that's what I have to do. I have to go with the information I have on hand. But there's always this little sneaking suspicion, not even sneaking suspicion, legitimized suspicion that they're not actually hitting the numbers that they're talking about. And I think it's been a thing where they're like, yeah, it is what it is. We ordered our labels, didn't finish, fuck it, just throw a label on it and sell it. And I think it might end up, if anything happens from this, I don't think anything's going to happen from it. If anything happens from it, I think it's going to be a tighter regulation of the ABV that actually goes in the beer. So, am I pissed? No, because the slushy beers have really, and when I say slushy, I mean those fruit puree beers. I'm not specifically speaking to 450 North, talking about that style in general. Not necessarily my favorite beer style to begin with, so I could give two flying fucks about it. But the idea that it could cost something moving forward, we'll see what's what. But you know, and take this, and I didn't even mention this part, and it has to be fucking stated. We're going off the word of some random dude that said he got a beer tested. Who the fuck do we know who this person is that tested this beer? I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying they're legitimate. The first thing that needs to happen in this process is, one, there needs to be set a standard. If people want to be serious about the fucking ABV that goes in their beers, there has to be a standard set and people have to follow it. And then two, the person that made the claim of it being way lower in ABV needs to produce the process in which they've tested the beer. To be like, this is what we did to show that this beer isn't the ABV. Because we're basically going on blind faith that this person's telling the truth. How the fuck do we know? We don't know this person. Like, we don't know. I don't even know. I actually don't know the person that posted it. I know that it was posted. I know it's legitimate enough to where the person who posted that people took off with that information, but I don't fucking know if that person's like legit. You could just been telling porky pies and just spitting shit out in the universe for the sake of fucking conversation. I don't fucking know, but that's my thoughts on it. It sucks. And that's probably my grievance. If we were going to kind of go with a grievance and end with a grievance, it's transparency of a brewery. So you're talking about brewers that are like, I've had beers that are like, they have not said there's lactose in the beer. They haven't said there's adjuncts in the beer. And people like, perfect example, someone asked the other day, they're like, oh, what's really good adjunct based stout that you've had as of late? And I said, well, you know, one of the better shelfie, and he asked for shelfies. One of the better shelfie adjunct stouts would be Gunner's Door from Mass Landing. Someone argued with me, and first off, he said, well, it's not an adjunct stout. And I'm like, well, it's a milk stout, so it's a fucking adjunct stout. And two, I'm like, you're basing your conversation, you're basing your idea off of it. Like, they go out of their way, they say it does not contain nuts. So, okay, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, Gunner's Daughter might not contain nuts. It's a very allergic thing for people, so you'd want to call that out. But they didn't say it's not an adjunct beer. Outside of the milk stuff, what makes it an adjunct beer, they're not saying there's not something additional in it. They're saying there's no nuts in it. So it doesn't necessarily mean there's not anything additional in the beer. So just transparency across the board. You know what I mean? The processes they're putting forward. That's why when you look at breweries, like, it's oddly really weird to call this one out because you could actually argue the other direction on this is that Trillium. Trillium has been very good from the get-go. From the get-go, that they're pretty transparent about what they're doing, because if you actually go in their beers, they actually list what they're doing. They called out a lot of the brewer sugars they're putting in there, whether dextrose or something of that similar. So they throw a lot of the different ingredients they put in beer. Now, you could be like, oh shit, they were putting tequila in beer, so fuck those guys. But it's great when breweries are more transparent about that stuff. Some people don't want to do that, you know, because they feel like they're giving away like a company secret if they tell people what's in it. But it is what it is. So yeah, in the grand scheme of things, I hope that this just ends up being a little bit kind of a push for breweries to be a little bit more transparent, be a little bit tighter about their ingredients and what they put on a label, and that is actually true. Anyway, let's go back to the comments before we do this unboxing. Martin saying he's like, no shit, I am 70. Can't drink beer anymore. Scotch is my drink, occasionally wine. Okay, I'll trust you on that, brother. Well, that's the thing. If you're drinking scotch, you're probably not going to get a hangover, because almost all hangovers derive from sweetness. So if you're drinking scotch, you're probably not getting a hangover. You probably smell like scotch in the morning, but wine might be a little bit different story. But cheers to you, brother, for not having hangovers. I'm fucking jealous. And Jerome, talking about your beer. Yes, it was that Nightmare beer. Carson says, I had 2 Nightmare double IPAs that were listed over 10%, and I poured them out. So sweet. Funny, it's that can, because I haven't talked to many people about them. Yeah. It is crazy. Drums green. No shit, I'm awesome. I don't know anything about 450 North. I don't know. Give me a quick summary of what happened. Basically, they are producing a beer. He said, "Never mind, contacts closed," but I'll state it for people that don't know. They produce a slushy series, which is their fruit puree sour series, and they said a beer was 8%, and some independent person who has lab equipment tested it and was 2.6%. So people are getting their fucking panties in a bunch. Haze Boys shantytowns will be popping up all around Columbus, Indiana in the next few months, since secondary sellers won't be able to make rent payments in the wake of Slushygate. Very true. Haze Boys is on point now. They actually know what's going on. There's so many people that are probably like they're just fucked. Their whole secondary income in life is now ruined because of Slushygate. So I'm gonna go off camera for a second here. I'm gonna grab a beer mail that I got. We'll do a live unboxing. I kicked my fucking Festivus pole all over the place, so you guys can fucking see that. We're gonna do a little live unboxing here. I did one last night. I'll do another one. Let's see here. I just want to get who sent me this on the legitness. Okay, this comes from Andrew. More specifically, and I rarely do this, but I'll do it. West Vale Liquor Mart. This comes from an actual liquor store. It's not so much that they weren't looking for a promotion. They weren't looking for me to actually call them out and stuff like that. But they said they really dig the beer reviews and they would like to send me stuff out from Colorado. So this is Colorado Beer Mail. We'll unbox this live here, and we'll see what these guys sent me. This one actually spent a bit of time in transit. It was supposed to come like last week sometime. And I don't know what got messed up or what got lost or whatever, but we're going to dive into this sucker, see what she's got. We'll do this unboxing, maybe take a couple more questions, go into the comments, and then call it a night. And then we'll pick this back up. Like I said, I'm going to be doing the 2 and 3 parts of this on Thursday. It's going to be me. It's going to be my buddy Keith. We're going to be cracking barley wines and getting shitty all night. So it's going to be a 5 o'clock start on Thursday. We're going to do my best of the year beers, and we'll go back and forth, and I'll argue with Keith. Breaking everything now. I'll argue with Keith back and forth about shit, and then we'll immediately finish that with best shelfie. So what do we have going on here? Paper. There we go. That's nice. Bubble wrap. And then we have notes. I love me some notes. So we have here Matt with 1 T. They got it right. Thank you very much. Here's some Colorado GMs and beers to drink and drain for. Thanks, Drew and Dean, West Vale Liquor Mart. So there you go. That's pretty cool. Thank you very much, guys. I always love notes. Notes are my favorite. So we have a bunch of stuff. I don't. Here's some Colorado GMs and question beer. So I think. Oh, okay. Okay, I got this now. I got this. I know what we're doing. So I was like, are these mystery beers or aren't they? Because they're wrapped up. These are not mystery beers. These are the mystery beers. So I got a brown paper bag of mystery beers. Hopefully these are, yeah, it's a brown paper bag of mystery. I don't know why I like it so much as the fucking brown paper bag of mystery beers. So these I will not open. I will just set those there for now so you guys can see that. We dive through here. I think that's all we have going on. So let's do this. Let's throw that over there. Take a little sippy poo. And let's see what these guys sent. The fact that they sent mystery beers is pretty fantastic. And first off, we have Big Bad Baptist in a can. I didn't think they made this in a can. Okay. It's a stout with cacao nibs and coffee added in Asian whiskey barrels. So it's the barrel-aged Big Bad Baptist. I think all the Big Bad Baptist are barrel-aged. I did not think they put these in cans. That's pretty fucking cool. And this was, it's 11.9% alcohol by volume, and it's best before 4/3/20. So they have best before date on that. That's pretty cool. I don't think have I ever done an epic Big Bad Baptist? I don't think so. I don't know if I ever reviewed one. Yeah, so that'll be a fun one. Put that there so you guys can see that if we unwrap another one. Let's go back to the comments real quick. So we have Carson actually chiming in. I usually hate really sweet juice bombs, but I actually enjoy those sugary ones every once in a while when I want one. Very, very I have to be in the mood. I can kind of agree with that, but that nightmare was crazy. Business Fairy. We're getting wrecked Thursday. I know what to bring now. So fucking Keith is. We're fucked. Up Thursday ends up like Chocolate Manifesto review. Was I hammered during the Chocolate Manifesto review? Oh yeah, buddy. We'll see what's what. Anyway, what do we have next here? We have Wood. Who is this from? New Image Brewing. Never heard of these guys before. Wood. Experimental Trial 1. It's a barley wine. Okay. This is weird. Where are these guys from? 15.25% barley wine in a can. Fuck yeah, motherfucker. How much would a woodchuck? How much would a woodchuck chug? Okay, fair enough. Where are these guys? Alvarado, Colorado. See, I was curious because it has hops UK. It's Pilgrim and Challenger. So we assume we're dealing with an English barley wine here, and then they call up malts and stuff like that. That's actually a pretty cool label. I kind of dig on that. So yeah. Let's cancel that out so you guys can see what's going on. Get a little bit of Falcons beating the Saints in there. Very recent. Oh, fucking swished. Yeah. Let's see what's what. I'm assuming most of these beers are shelfie beers, only because they come from a bunch of dudes that own liquor stores, so it's probably stuff that they have in stock. I've had New Image again. I've seen this label or something very similar. So we have another one of these New Image jams. This is their New England style pale ale. It was canned 11/20. 5%. 5% pale ale. Fuck yeah, motherfucker. I don't think I've seen this, but I just think there's another label that looks very similar to that. That looks like something I've had before. And the last but not least, we have Kolsch. I like these guys already. Yeah, we have Make Positive Impact, Kolsch, blah, 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 blah. 8-second Kolsch. Elevation Brewing Company. Yeah, never heard of these guys either. You're talking about a Kolsch style ale coming in at a whopping 5% alcohol by volume. This is pairings: lemon, pepper, shrimp, and Rocky Mountain oysters, and schnitzel. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I dig this. So we got a sack of I have a sack of mystery beers. This is like I'm going to school with my sack of mystery beers. The mystery beers, by the way, this is called science. The best pairing for mystery beers is your Festivus bowl. That's what tastes best with mystery beers. And then we have this nice little 4-stacker here of two from this what's the name of the brewery again? New Image Brewing. A little bit of Baptist jams and whatnot. So thank you very much, guys. What was their names again? Before I forget, because I'll forget again. That would be Drew and Dean. Thank you very much, brother. Very cool of you. Sending these off. I will enjoy the living shit out of these. Hopefully the Mr. Beers, I do them some kind of proper. This goddamn microphone drives me insane. I want to put it behind my fucking neck here. There we go. Anyway. So there you go. So we went through our airing of grievances. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. Let me go through my list real quick to see if there's anything in that slipped my brain. So we went over the 450 North, ABV liars, Taco being an asshole, me being an asshole, jump cut sucking, product shills being douchey unless you actually like the product. Journalism biased. We went over grapefruit Crocs. Mystery beer, my haters, the haters that love to hate my shit because they're jealous, so that was fun. Hot Butcher and their FedEx labels because they make some money and they don't send them in time. And then FedEx and UPS being assholes. Packing Peanuts because they're the scourge of the universe. Hateism and beer, basically, assholes who are racist and douchebags. And last but not least, but most importantly, people that get in the hazies and then turn their back on them because they're too cool for fucking school. So there you go. It's a Festivus for the rest of us. So I hope you guys enjoyed me raining blows down upon you as we reach for the doll of grievances. It was a fun one, actually. I didn't know how this is going to go. We go into these a lot of times, kind of. There's no script. And, I have loose notes written on my sweet iPad down here, of stuff I want to cover. But other than that, it's just me rambling the camera. So it went off pretty well. I mean, people seemed like they had fun. Good conversation between everybody. I'm actually super pumped that a lot of people joined in from Rajay Beer Ventures. Go check them out. Kyle from No Hype. Haze Boys chiming in, which is pretty fucking awesome. A bunch of people, my Carson's of the world, my fucking everybody's of the world, kind of diving in and loving the random chats. And hopefully, you guys have a little bit of hate in your heart. Let that shit out. Let it out. It's where it deserves to be. Get that hate out. So, hopefully, you guys have an awesome holiday. We got fucking Christmas Eve tomorrow. I got Christmas Day, and then we're gonna be back on Thursday, doing my best ofs, my feats of strength, the best beers I've had over the past year. It's gonna be a long list. It's probably gonna be like a 2-hour fucking video. This one was 1 hour and 40, so it might be longer. Then immediately following that one, I have it set for 7 o'clock, but it might be earlier or later, depending on how my favorites go. You tuned in for my favorite shelfies. We'll go through those. So hopefully, you guys enjoyed their video. Hopefully, you're enjoying some decent beer right now. Hopefully, you're hating on some motherfucker out there. And hopefully, see you next time. Cheers.